Everyone loves a simple mac and cheese. It's delicious and creamy, but when I was in college, I was introduced to what I thought was a weird ingredient that changed my perspective on what a good mac and cheese is forever. Now let's first get started on prepping our cheese. We'll first need 1 packet or 225 grams of Gruyere cheese and 1 packet or 225 grams of sharp cheddar cheese. This is technically twice the amount I need, but they do sell 225 gram packets at the grocery store. Now to grate this cheese, we can use a cheese grater or a box grater, duh, but I'm actually gonna grab my food processor because it has a cheese grating attachment on it, which I think just makes it easier and faster when grating a lot of cheese. But we do need to cut the cheese, no pun intended, into long little planks. So with my knife, I'm gonna cut my Gruyere cheese into planks like so, and then I'm gonna do the same thing for my sharp cheddar cheese as well. I'll load the cheese into my food processor, turning it on and pretty much grating that sucker instantly. Once my cheese has been fully grated, I'll then move it into a medium-sized bowl, mixing it very thoroughly, and that's it. You have a nice, delicious blend of sharp cheddar and Gruyere cheese. And you got it done in like basically 2 minutes, and you didn't have to use any elbow work to grate the cheese manually. Oh, and give your food processor a quick rinsing as well, because we're gonna be using it again later on in the video. Now from here, we're gonna cook our pasta. I have 1 pound's worth of elbow pasta, and to cook them, I'm gonna grab a large pot, pouring water in it, and then setting the heat to high until we reach a rapid boil. From here, I'm gonna generously salt it with at least 2 to 3 heavy pinches, and then I'm gonna throw all of our elbow pasta in there, following the cooking instructions that are stated on the box. But I will pull it out 2 minutes early because I want a more firm al dente pasta, plus it's gonna continue to cook when we throw in the oven as well, so you want it to be a little firmer. Oh, and make sure to stir it every now and then to prevent the pasta from sticking to the bottom of the pot. Once your pasta is perfectly cooked, I'm gonna now pour it into a strainer, straining out the pasta from the water, and I'm gonna hit it with cold water. You wanna make sure it's fully cooled down so that way it stops the cooking process and our noodles don't get any softer. Now you have pasta that's ready to be tossed into a cheese sauce, which we're gonna make right now. And I'm gonna let editor Xander handle this part of the voiceover. So the first thing we're gonna need is 1 large pot, setting it to medium heat, and then we're gonna throw in 118 grams or 1 stick of butter. Once it's fully melted, we'll then throw in 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, as well as 1 tablespoon of onion powder and half a tablespoon of smoked paprika. Mix all those seasonings, letting it bloom and toast for about a minute, and then we're gonna throw in 113 grams of all-purpose flour, which is about a little less than a cup's worth of flour, and keep mixing it and cooking it for about a minute to remove that raw flour taste. From here, you're gonna wanna pour in 2 12-ounce cans of evaporated milk. I'm pouring it in batches initially to really make sure the flour and the evaporated milk fully combine with each other. The reason we use evaporated milk may sound weird, but essentially has more milk in it than milk. The extra concentrated milk protein structures it has will help us bind the fats in our cheese to it more effectively, creating more of an emulsified cheese sauce, and it makes it much harder to break our sauce as well. Once your 2 cans of evaporated milk have been fully whisked in, also use a whisk here, it makes it easier to remove the lumps. We're gonna now pour in 110 grams or half a cup of heavy cream, making sure to give it a real strong whisking as well. Now to make things easier, I'm gonna cut the heat on my pot, and now I'm gonna pour in about 3/4 of our cheese mixture. Do it in batches, just as much as you grab with your hand, and make sure the cheese is fully melted before throwing in the next batch in your pot. And you wanna leave enough cheese behind so that way you could sprinkle on a little bit on top before we bake in the oven. Now our cheese sauce might have a little grainy taste to it, and to fix it, we're gonna throw in 75 grams of mascarpone cheese. This is a tip I got from Brian Lagerstrom's mac and cheese video, and it's just essentially like cheese sour cream. It loosens everything up and adds a creaminess to it. After whisking that in thoroughly, next we're gonna throw in half a teaspoon of nutmeg, optional but still good, and then 14 grams of salt, which is a little less than 1 tablespoon, followed by 17-ish cranks of fresh black pepper. Give that another mixing, and now you should notice that our cheese has gotten very thick. To thin it out, we're gonna pour in 250 grams or 1 cup of water. You could do a cup and a half if you were just really thick. I poured it in batches, and be warned, if the water's too cold, you might have to reheat your pan a little bit. Once you got it thinned out to your liking, we're now gonna pour in all of our cooked macaroni, and now with a lot of elbow grease, just mix it all together, making sure everything's fully covered in the mac and cheese. This is gonna be the base of our mac and cheese, so make sure to taste it to adjust the seasoning, but I thought it was phenomenal.
Ooh, that's good.
Now our mac and cheese is almost ready. Now we got bacon in the oven, so I'm gonna head on over there and set it to 375 degrees convection bake. And we're gonna get to work on what I think is the most important factor on a mac and cheese, which is a good quality crunchy texture. So what we're gonna now do is toast some plain panko breadcrumbs and the secret ingredient, flaming hot Cheetos. I had flaming hot Cheetos on top of my mac and cheese one time in college, and it was the best thing I've ever had when it comes to mac and cheese. It adds a nice little acidic hot punch that cuts through all the creamy cheese that I think is now required in every mac and cheese I have. If you don't like flaming hot Cheetos, you can also just run with regular Cheetos, and if you don't like either, that's okay. Just use the regular panko breadcrumbs. But don't skip out on this step, because this is what makes or breaks a good mac and cheese, in my opinion. Now for the panko breadcrumbs, I'm gonna grab a small saucepan, setting it to medium-high heat, and then I'm gonna give it a generous squeeze of olive oil. The amount I'm putting here is actually still not enough for the amount of panko we're gonna be using. Once the oil is hot, I'm then gonna throw in 170 grams or 2 cups of panko breadcrumbs, making sure to mix it constantly. This is gonna brown pretty quickly in about only a couple minutes, so you really have to make sure you're mixing constantly. And you can see here, I realized I didn't put enough oil in it, which is totally okay. All I'm gonna do is just add more oil and then mix it in. About 2 minutes later, I now have some nicely toasted breadcrumbs. I don't wanna fully toast them just yet because they are gonna continue toasting when we throw it in the oven, so pull it out a little early. But that's our panko breadcrumbs, and now let's get to the hot Cheetos. We're gonna grab that same food processor that I told you to clean, and we're gonna throw in 240 grams or 1 medium-sized bag's worth of hot Cheetos in it. I had to do it in batches, but you're gonna pulse it until you get a nice fine powder. Don't overdo it. This took all of 30 seconds to properly mince. And now you have an amazing little Cheeto dust that we're gonna sprinkle on top of our mac and cheese before throwing in the oven. Speaking of our mac and cheese, it's time to assemble this sucker. I'm gonna grab a 9x13 casserole dish, and then I'm gonna pour all of our mac and cheese mixture in that casserole dish, making sure to smooth out the top so it's nice and even from edge to edge. I'm gonna hit it now with a sprinkling of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. I'm using the real stuff, but you can use pre-shredded Parmesan cheese here. This is like one of the few times you could actually use pre-shredded Parmesan cheese, in my opinion. I'm then gonna sprinkle on our last quarter of our cheese mixture, again, making sure it's super even, spread edge to edge. And now is the fun part. I'm gonna layer our panko breadcrumbs and our flaming hot Cheeto breadcrumbs on top of it. But I chose to do it at a diagonal pattern, and I wanted to layer it one next to another, so it kind of has a nice little visual appeal. This is more of a labor of love. It took a few more minutes layering this versus just sprinkling breadcrumbs across the whole thing, but I do think it's worth it because it now looks visually stunning. Now I'm gonna throw this in our 375 preheated oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. Just until the cheese is melted, which also gives you plenty of time to hit the like and subscribe on this video. But what you should be doing is cleaning everything you just dirtied, so I'm gonna start doing that now. Now about 30 to 35 minutes later, I'm gonna pull it out of the oven, and you can see the panko is toasted perfectly. The cheese is melted underneath it, and it has a nice little bubbling you could hear if you put your ear to it. But that's it. That's your mac and cheese that has the best crunchy texture on top. You can see here, I pulled it out of the casserole dish, put it on a plate, and you can see all the cheese, the Cheetos, and the toasted breadcrumbs. All we gotta do now is taste this sucker. All right, let me just get a good little bite of this sucker here. Oh my God. That is insane. The Cheetos on mac and cheese just does something to it to elevate it to a whole other level. And the panko, it's a must. Mac and cheese is not complete unless you have crunchy panko or Cheetos, or both. This is so good. 10 out of 10. You can come here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new. I sure did. Please give this recipe a shot if you guys want to. I highly recommend it. If you want to see more videos like this, I'll link it down below right here. Thank you again for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Deuces.
Goodbye. Wait.
That one.
Goodbye.
You always do that. You look at the wrong thing.
There's too many.